In this video, we are going to see how to create the ticket booking system. My society has planned to go for a tour, and I would be having all the details. This is the guy, and it's a phone number, and he hasn't paid the amount. So you can see it's due right now. So this is another guy. He has paid, and the booking is confirmed. You can see the data is displayed here. This is a single page application. We have created it with the help of AngularJS. Now I'm updating it. Now I'm like changing it to due and changing the number. If you click on update, you can see these data will be converted to these datas. Fine. And if you wish to delete, you can delete as well. If you click on OK, it will be deleted without the page refresh. To follow with me, I'll leave the source code here, and this is the second AngularJS project. We have named it ticket booking system. So this is the steps to create. I have made it some of the modules. So we will be doing the perfect CRUD operation in AngularJS. Fine. Now we are going to insert data, we are going to fetch all data from database, we are going to update all data from database, and we are going to delete a specific data from a database. Fine. Now let me explain the HTML. You can see we have a database named ticket booking, and inside that we have a table society tour. If you click on a table, you will see there are 4 columns: ID, name, phone, and status. Fine. Now we are getting into the first module. Insert a text field value into the database. Fine. So let me show you. This is the file structure you will be getting. You will have one index file, one script file, and one style sheet. So let me explain you this HTML. So you can see, let me comment the table for now. Now this is how it looks. This is simply the form field, and let me remove all the AngularJS attributes in the HTML. Fine, let me add it again. We have removed it. Now what is ng app? You have to define your application as an Angular application by using the attribute ng app. So this div holds the form as well as the table. So I'm making this div as an ng app. So this is your Angular app right now, and I'm going to create a controller with the help of the attribute ng controller. So what controller will do is, controller can access all the data inside the Angular app. So in this case, we have input field, again input field, and a select tag, which is option, and then the button. Fine. Now ng model, controller can access the input field by the attribute ng model, and name is the key, and we are going to give the key as phone for this, and again we are going to give this key as status. Now there is a button. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to add a click function. So in AngularJS we have a attribute called ng click, and it will initialize a function. Now let me initialize the Angular app in the script file. Let me comment it and start from scratch. So we are going to create an instance of angular.module, pass the app name, and in the second parameter there will be an array. Fine. With the help of the instance, we can call the controller function, and it will accept 2 parameters. The first one is controller name, and then the function what the controller need to do. Fine. Let me replace the app name and the controller name. This is the app name. Let me pass it over here, and this is the controller name. Let me pass it over here. Now why do we need scope? Controller can access the model with the help of scope. We have seen what is model, that is ng model. So I'm going to access this function using the variable scope. So let me define that function, and this function will simply say an alert message to you, so that we can understand that the controller is accessing the button. It's not working. Let me see what is the error right now. The error is nothing. We have to hard refresh it, and you click. That's working. Controller has called the button with the help of scope variable. Fine. Now again, with the help of scope variable, we are going to access the input field. Scope.name will access the ng model name. Scope.phone will access the ng model phone on the input field. And let me access the select tag as well. Ng model name, ng model phone. And again, let me access the select tag as well. Copy paste it again. Now change it to scope status. So if you refresh it, and if you click on type something, and if you click on submit, you will get all the values, and that's working, but it is without space. Let me add a space to it. Now you can see, if I type the real value, which is my name and my phone number, I hope it is not my phone number, I'm just doing it, and I have paid. Now if you click on submit, you'll see you'll get all the three values with the help of scope variable, which is controller giving you with the help of scope. Now I'm going to give the value of a button. So I have not given value of a button. Let me give the value of button. You can give any name, but I'm going to make it dynamic. So if you refresh it, I'm going to make it dynamic with the help of template retrieval. So it's a variable which is btn name. So when the AngularJS loads, I want the name of the button to be add. I should not paste it here, I should paste above, because it will only trigger when the function is clicked, when the button is clicked. Place it above. Fine. Now it's working. The add is coming dynamically. Now initialize the click function. We have done it. Let's add the validation to it. As I said, to call the input field, we will be using the variable scope, and if it's null, it is going to give a message enter name. Likewise, we have three field. First one is for name, second is for phone, and third one is for status. Status is paid or due. So access the input field. If the input field is null, then show the alert message. Copy paste to every if condition and change the key ng model. Fine. Now we just don't have to say the alert, we need to return. What happens is, if it returns, it exits the controller. Fine. If you click, it says enter name. If you enter your name, it will say enter phone. If you enter your phone, it will say enter status. And now the next line will run. Now we are going to use HTTP to send these values. With the help of the HTTP, we are going to send the values to a file called insert.php. So it is a post method. We are going to send post method to the server, and to the page insert.php, and we will be passing these input field data in the form of objects. The object would be in the key and value pair. Key should be surrounded with quotes, and value can be a variable name. We have 4. We are going to pass button also. Name, phone, status, and the button name, and we can give any name in the key section. I'm going to add a prefix send underscore name, send underscore phone, send underscore status, and send underscore btn name. So you will be having a doubt why I'm sending the button name with it, because I'm going to do the insert operation and the update operation on the same PHP file. To identify the block of code, I'm sending the button name. Now I'm going to receive these variables in the insert.php. Let me open the insert.php. It's in the PHP files. Let me copy it and paste it outside here and open it. The first line will say it is going to get repeated connection to DB, and it's an input stream converted to data, and we are getting these data in the variable. So this send is simply the received one. So these are the send can be accessed over here, and the status can be accessed. Fine. Now these are stored into a variable called PHP variable. Now if the button is add, we know that we have changed the button name is add already. So if the button name is add, we are going to run the insert query on the table, and we are going to get the message. If it's success, a data inserted. If not, we will get the error as a message. So we can access these data inside the parameter data. So let me alert that data. So if it is successful, now once it is successful, I want the text field to get null, or else if you click on submit or if you click on add, the data would be present even after it is saved on the database. I don't want that, that's why I'm making it null. Now let me add a data. My name along with my phone number and my status, I have paid or not, I have paid, and click on add data inserted, and it will be displayed on the database. Already there are two values and 3 is in the third one. Fine. Now if you I have shown you there are only 3 values. Let me add one more thing with the name Matthews, and let me add a phone number, let me add a status, and if I click on add, the data will be inserted on the database. Fine, it's working. Now let's get into the fetch. I'm going to create a function that will load when the Angular application loads. To make it happen, I'm going to use attribute ng init, and it is a function. This is a function load table. It will run when the application loads. So when it loads, I'm going to initialize it on the controller. To access we need to use dot scope $scope dot function name, and I'm going to initialize it. Now we are going to send request to the server using the HTTP, and it would be the get method, and the file name is select.php. We are not going to send any variable, just we will receive the output in the success function. And this success function, what it will do, before that let me show you what's inside the select.php. We will be receiving the file, we will be receiving the data in the form of JSON. I will be showing you why. So the connection is done, and it's a query. This is a query, and the code runs, and the output is in the array format, and I'm going to convert it to JSON, and I can receive it over here. The data is the JSON format, and let me store it into a variable received JSON. Now as I said, we would be receiving an array, and I'm going to convert it to JSON, and this data I'm going to use it in the attribute. So let me uncomment the table. So the section is needed. The minimum HTML required is the head section. I'll leave the head section and start the body section. So if you see, the head section is there, and let me create the body section. We know the body section is going to get this row is going to get repeated. So for that, I'm going to use the attribute ng repeat. It will repeat until and unless there is a single value from the database. So this is a value, we will be receiving it. It's a JSON value. So this hex holds our column name or columns data. So use the template literal x dot column name. Again we have 3 more datas, x dot phone and x dot action. Now we have made a mistake. The mistake is the JSON value. the JSON value we need to call it, and this is also a mistake. So the JSON value we have to use it $.scope in the controller. With the help, the scope will give the JSON value to the ng repeat. Fine, it's working. The data is fetched from the database. Now let's add two button. We have seen the template title, we have seen the ng repeat. Now let's add two button, the create the update and delete one. We'll place both the button inside the table data, and let me give the bootstrap class button primary and button danger, and it will be having the value update. Call the fetch function after insert operation is done. So once the insert operation is done, we will be getting the alert message, and the input field will be blanked, and then I'm going to call the function fine, which will load the data on the table. Fine, if you refresh it, it's working. Now let me add the name Gary with the phone number, and after the alert message you will see the function is called and it has populated the table. Fine, now we are going to update data in database when we click on a button. So for that I'm going to create a function with the help of ngClick, and the function will have four parameters: name, phone and status. If you know, we have used select query, which is select star. We will be getting the ID also, so I will be passing the ID also over here, x.id. Now let me initialize the function on the controller. With the to call it, I would be using the $scope dot the function name, and we know we are getting the four parameter along with ID, phone and status. And what I'm going to do is this value I'm going to pass it to the input field. So when I click on the update, what I need to do is I want to fill the input field with these value: name equal to name. This is the model. The ID is not defined right now. I'll be creating it. So for now we have the ng model name, we have the ng model phone, we have the ng model status. These ng model are simply the input field, and we know the ID is not created. So let me create it. I'll be creating it. You can see ng model over there. Let me create the ID. Input type equal to hidden, and it will have a ng model ID. So again, as I said, the insert.php is also going to do the update operation. So if I click, you can see the value is populated on the input field. You won't be seeing it. The the input type hidden is there, but you cannot see it. So we have created the input type hidden, and now you can see we are going to change the button. If I click on update, you can see the add is over there. Click on update, but we need the update. In place of add, we need the update. For that, can change it to update. Change the button into update, along with populate all the values in the input field. Fine, that's done. Now we have created an input field. On the insertion, I would be sending one more object, key value pair, which is ID. and I will accessing in the insert.php. So if the button name is update, and perform this, get the id and update, and get the message updated or error. So this can be accessed over here, either updated or either updated or error. So once it's done, we have to change the button name to add again. Load the table and change to add again. Now you will see. Let me update it. Remove the n and click on update. You can see after the update has changed to add. Fine, this has done. Now let's delete the data. The same way, I'm going to pass the id. Previously I was passing 4 values as a parameter. Now I'm going to pass just one value, which is id. Let me create a function, delete db, and with the help of scope variable I would be accessing the function name. We will be passing the get request to the delete.php, and on success, along with the I would be passing the id as an object key value pair. I will be getting the id over here. The id would be passed here, and I will be getting it here, and I will be passing it again over here in a form of key as send id. So before deleting, I want to get a I want to make it confirm. So let's get into the delete.php connection, and this is the query. I have received the id. We will be getting a data, either message data deleted or message error. So before that, as I said, I would be asking confirmation. So for that, I'm going to use a condition. Confirm is a function in the predefined function. Are you sure you want to delete? If it's true, then send the request. Send the get request to the server. Else, don't do it. That's why I'm returning false. That's why I'm calling false. Now if it's true, if I click on yes, then send the request to the server using HTTP. And on success, what I need to do is I want to populate the table. So we are using 2 times. We are calling the load table 2 times. Angular will not allow us. So for that, what we will do is we need to do track by index. Fine, it's not working. Let me see why. Delete db is not defined. I think I have not deleted this. So you can see, if you click on delete, are you sure it's not getting deleted? Let me see why. Are you sure? Again, it's not getting deleted. Let me see what is the message. Let me alert the message. We will get either error or either data deleted. Then there's an error trying to get property. Let me change it to post. Not working. Post is not a function. It should be of lowercase. Yes, it has deleted now. Now let me delete the Matthews. Are you sure? Yes. data written, and Matthew is gone. Let me delete the Gary. Before that, let me update it, change it to paid and update, and that's done. And if you wish to delete, you can delete it. Fine, it's deleting. The CRUD operation is done. Thank you so much for listening.